Alright guys, it's me Kai. How are you today, night, and or evening, whatever time it is for you? Hopefully, you're alright. Well, hi puppy. Hello, 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 hello. I'm doing alright. You know. Sorry. We got the background music playing. Same as usual. But today we are doing a book review. Now this book has a lot of mixed opinions online from what I've gathered and my little bit of research that I did on the book reviews that have been posted of this. And I'll link a few with the differing opinions on it than me. And some with similar opinions to mine, because, you know, for sake of free information and you coming up with your own thoughts. But it's S by Doug Dorst and J.J. Abrams, and I said it in that order for a goddamn reason. Because a lot of what I see is people, for some reason, speculating on if Doug Dorst is a real guy. He is. He is a real man. He's wrote, like, fucking 11 other novels. Most of which were before he made this one. So, he is real. And I also believe that he wrote the majority of this book. But that is, of course, speculation. Because, and the only reason I think that, okay, is because they are very clearly, this is written by two different people, okay? And I'm going to get into how that's very clear in a minute, but I just want to give you an overview of my thoughts first. So, I didn't like the book. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion on it to begin with. Now, I won't say that it's the worst thing I've ever read, because it's not. It's an okay book at its core, and for the genre that it's trying to be, I just think that it's severely lacking in comparison to, well, like House of Leaves, which is in a similar vein and style, and it's just like, with this, okay. With this book, which also, what I will give it is that it is really well produced. And I don't mean that in the sense that it's well written and it's a good novel in any capacity, or that the story even makes fucking sense. And we're really gonna get into the story, because the story bit is really what irritates me. So if you don't know, the ship of Theseus is, I believe, actually, not the book, this book, but the concept of the ship of Theseus, I think, is, some sort of mythology thing having to do with identity. I'm gonna look it up real quick. The ship of Theseus, not the book, but yeah, it's like I thought. It's Greek philosophy, ancient Greek philosophy, is a thought experiment. The ship of Theseus is a thought experiment that asks whether an entity that has had all of its original components replaced remains the same entity. It has applications to the psychological study of identity, and has inspired a variety of purposed solutions in contemporary philosophy of mind. And I think, okay, that this book, in its main self, right, is trying to convey that, but it kind of falls short. Because what ends up happening is it's an unconnected, convoluted story with large gaps in this man's memory, the main character, and the novel part. Okay, this part is strictly about the actual novel. This has nothing to do with the footnotes and margins and other things that I'm going to get to after I just talk about the novel part. Because a part of this is... Wow, I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. But The Ship of Theseus is a novel that was written by the fake author V.M. Straka. Okay? And in the footnotes and the margins, you have a secondary story of Eric and Jen, who are trying to figure out what happened to Straka, because, like, supposedly nobody knows. Okay? Spoiler alert, he reveals it at the very fucking beginning of the book. Okay? And it's stupid, because I think what they were going for is it was like an aha moment when you got to the end, and you're like, oh my god, you should have just known it the whole time. Because it was right there the whole time. But it falls short, because all they do is put theories that go nowhere, and clues that go nowhere, and try to tie this shit from Straka's real life, well, you know, in the book world, real life, into the story of the Ship of Theseus. And, that's all good and all, right? That's a great concept. It's a phenomenal concept, right? But it was poorly executed. Okay? Now I'm gonna talk about the things that I like about the book, because that's just the basic premise of the story. What I do like about this book is the small amount of not the small amount of creativity. It's really creative. I'll give it that. And the production quality on it is great. It really looks, smells, and feels like an old library book from the 1940s. You know, it's got the book for loan. You know, it's got, in the back here, it's got a little decoder. Cool, right? And it's got a literal margin, which is good. You know, it's got a great production quality, okay? I really will give it that, but that's because J.J. Abrams has the money to spend on shit like that. Which is why this book was originally $40 fucking dollars. But in the book, and I have to hold this very specifically because a bunch of shit's gonna come falling out if I don't. You see those margins right there? How it's got the margins here at the bottom and it's filled with a bunch of notes. That's where the conversation between Jen and Eric is going on. And, it's written like, you know, actual handwriting notes. The back and forth is really convoluted and confusing. Except for when it's not. Otherwise, it's like really kind of linear. And it does get confusing, you know, to read sometimes, because you're having to figure out exactly what they're talking about. And from what I've gathered from the book reviews that I've seen, that is a common thing in J.J. Abrams stuff, where he just throws a bunch of convoluted shit at a wall and says, you're just not smart enough to understand it. When that's not it. It's not that you're not smart enough to understand it, it's that it was never there to begin with. You know, there was no mystery here. Okay? It wasn't a mystery. It's not a mystery if you say what really happened in the first fucking page. Not actually in the first page, but pretty damn close to the beginning. They literally say the truth. And it's one of the original theories, right? Which is all fine and all, but there's no suspense that way. There's no reason for the notes to be there of them discussing this, only to find out in the end that it was exactly what the lady said, the translator said. I find that really irritating, and it makes the experience of this book feel pointless to me. Because why you give us the thing to break the codes, and why are you... Well, where did that actually go? Oh, it's under my booty. But, like, why you give us the thing to break the codes, and and give us all this evidence. This, like, you know, really, the production quality on this is good. If you couldn't tell, the amount of good things I have to say about this book is far less than the amount of bad things I have to say about this book. It's boring. I'm on to bad things now. It's fucking boring. So soul-crushingly boring. Okay, you had such a... Wendy, not right now. You had such a good concept. And you just dropped the ball. You know, also, it's really hard to read this. Not just because of the notes, because I can kind of follow it, right? It's just a little minor inconvenience to have to decipher time frames with it, because it's written in 3 different colors for 3 different times. And it's a little confusing sometimes. And the way that they try to connect the 2 stories, well, to me, doesn't make sense. And some people are calling this goddamn book a masterpiece, which it's not. It's not a masterpiece, okay? Well, I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, so if you think it's a masterpiece, more power to you. But I personally think that it is a copy almost of the style of House of Leaves, but done with a higher production quality, because it's fucking J.J. Abrams, so obviously he's gonna have better production quality. Shush, Wendy, they're puppies. They're puppies! Sorry. Sorry, y'all, that's my bad, that's my bad. Shit, now I lost where I was. See, god damn it. Get down, puppy. I can't have you up here right now. Okay, anyway. It's just like got the higher production quality, and it's got clues in it and all of that, which ultimately amount to nothing. Honestly, to me, it amounts to nothing. I mean, it's like a colossal waste of time to even read the margins at that point. Like, you could skip the whole middle section of the margins and, like, take out 95% of them and still get the story. It's like a lot of it is just filler. Like, she goes off in a tangent about how she was kidnapped at one point. You know, Eric is talking about Moody, who's his professor, who's fucking an undergrad student. You know, there's a lot of shit in here that's just feels to me personally like filler. And I guess maybe I just don't like that type of thing. But what I will say is that to the people that say, oh, it's a masterpiece, it's a great book. First off, for you just saying that because it's supposedly written by J.J. Abrams. Okay? Because that's the first thing I want to know. And then if that is the thing, then second thing I want to know, or there's something that I want to tell you. Okay? If you genuinely do enjoy the book because it is a good book to you, then I'm sure you have your reasons, and more power to you, like I said. But if it is literally because, oh, it's J.J. Abrams, and you're just too small-brained to understand. No. Sit down, shut up at that point. Like, if Michaela Steve, okay, and this is the real determining factor for me as, like, the nail in the coffin that is this book's death. Okay, nail in the coffin of this bad boy right here, okay, and get closer, see, is literally, I'm totally hoping that I can make a thumbnail out of that. If not, that just looks weird. If Michaela Steve, okay, a huge determining factor to me, if it is a good book or not, is Michaela's opinion on it. Because Michaela is a reader. Like, at her mom and dad's house, she had, like, a whole wall. Literally ceiling to floor wall. Like, a whole section of her bedroom was nothing but books. It's like she had a mini library. Okay? Like, she reads a lot. I'm talking like she's read Shakespeare and books from the 1800s. House of Leaves, she's read young adult novels. She's read classic horror, like Silence of the Lambs and shit. Okay, so if there is a determiner to me for if a book is good or not, it is Michaela Steve's opinion on it. Okay? Michaela Steve could not finish this book because of how bad the book was. It's actually the whole reason I even got the idea to make this in the first place. Is because we had a whole discussion about how really irritated we both were at the fact that the ending is kind of like literally a slap to the face almost. And how the margins are difficult to read and they throw around names that don't matter and make literally no sense, and it really just feels it feels dumb in a lot of places. Like, in the aspect of being a book, it sucked, but in the aspect of being in a semi-unique experience, it does have that going for it. It is a unique experience, and if you like to feel, smart, and that's why I haven't really given away the ending necessarily, this might be right up your alley, it might be your thing. To me, I don't like convolutedness for the sake of it being convoluted. Complication for the sake of it being complicated. I don't like the throwing information at a wall and hitting you with so much shit that you don't even really need for the story to hit. I think that throws a lot of people off from reading, especially in my generation, because, my generation, not really readers. I mean, I'm probably going to throw that out there. We're not really, readers. Not our thing. Well, I mean, I guess, I can't speak for my whole generation, but, I mean, we're not exactly, we were raised on the internet, And this just seems like, they kind of overcomplicated it for the sake of overcomplicating it. It could have been a better story, right? At least one part of it, because even the base novel, if you didn't even read the margins, okay? Don't even bother with the margins. If you had just chose to read it, totally just the ship of Theseus. Not S, but ship of Theseus. It's not a good book. Like, not a book that would make you convincingly make you believe that an undergrad in a what is it? Hold on, it's an undergrad in something else. I think it's post-grad, or probably not post-grad, because he's still technically in college. It's undergrad, and maybe it was 2 undergrads. But literally, if you're supposed to be convinced that they are obsessed with this book, right? And the margins don't do a good job of convincing that, because if you're obsessed with something, you're gonna, like, have more intense conversations than what they have. At least in my personal opinion, it wasn't convincing. But it's also not convincing. Sorry, I can't speak right now. That the ship of Theseus would be something that anyone would be obsessed with as a novel. It doesn't strike me as a classic. It doesn't strike me as anything more than like a regular book, you know, like a normal novel that's like decent, you know. So I find it hard to believe anyone would become obsessed with it. I don't find it to be a compelling or convincing story. And after a while, it just kind of makes your head hurt. And not because it's not because it's complicated in a good way, right? Because things can be a challenge and have a great payoff, and you're gonna want to go back because that payoff was so great. You're gonna want to go back and read and see the signs that you missed, subtle signs, right? Like the subtle things. There is no subtlety in this book. It's all speculation and the margins between Jen and Eric. It's all like speculation. It's all theories that they're throwing at the wall. And at the end of it all, they end up fucking finding out that what the translator lady said in the beginning was true. And if I'm not mistaken, sorry. Yeah, at the end, you don't even get to read the original 10th chapter of the book. Which is like one of the biggest mysteries, was what was the original 10th chapter. And you never get to find out. So that is my half-assed book review on S by J.J. Abrams and Doug Dorst. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this in this video, but if you don't believe that Doug Dorst is a real guy, did you do no research at all on the man? He wrote like 9 other, well, not even 9, like 11 other books before this. Like, I don't know why y'all just heard the J.J. Abrams and stopped there. Because there's so many people, and it really, I know that's a dumb thing to get irritated by. But, like, if you look up reviews, and I will show you, okay? I'll show you on my phone right fucking now. Oh, I didn't even say this. Because basically, back into it, sorry. It's just that part that I forgot to add. Is the ship of Theseus, not the book, right? The actual ancient Greek philosophy, right? Literally is about identity, right? And if you have stripped away all the memories of who a person is, are they still that person? Right? Or do they change in a way? Which is a phenomenal concept and adds, like, it really is a thought-provoking thing. And that is what the main novel is supposed to be tackling. But the way that it's done is very poorly. Right? Like, it's really poorly done. Because, like, it's a great philosophical question, right? That kind of, for me, is inaccurately portrayed by how he makes, like, the transitions in the book. And the main character in the novel, it just doesn't, it falls flat to me. Which is basically what I've been saying this whole time. Now I can show you how most people either put J.J. Abrams' name first, or I literally saw one person who literally just put by J.J. Abrams in their title. Yeah, see, this person, just J.J. Abrams' name in their title right there. They don't put the other guy's name. Let's see if I can find the other guy, because I know I saw one. I saw a couple more like that. And I'm gonna leave some reviews in the comments of other people who reviewed it and probably did a better job of explaining it than I did. Yeah, there you go, dude. Put his name first. Yeah, you too, lady. That's right. That's what's up. Yeah, see this person, J.J. Abrams' book, Ship of Theseus. Like, put the other guy's name in it too. Alright. He wrote it. Alright, they both wrote it. Alright, don't fucking just put the famous guy's name. You know? Like, don't just put the famous guy's name, okay? With that, though, I'm gonna leave this here. And, this has been a 30-minute book review that took way longer than it probably should have. I definitely danced around the topics that I wanted to, but you know what? It is what it is. This has been Kai. And I'm saying bye-bye.